It's another story time. The title of today's story is The Wisdom of Oba Eweka and the Goddess Idu. Once upon a time, in the heart of the Benin Kingdom, there was a wise and noble Oba named Eweka. His palace was a center of wisdom, and he was deeply loved by his people. They trusted in his fairness and honored him for his courage in the face of any adversary. The kingdom was prosperous, known for its rich culture, exquisite bronze artwork, and powerful warriors. One day, a great challenge arose in the kingdom. A drought plagued the land, rivers dried up, and crops withered. The people were in despair as they watched their fertile land turn to dust. Many sought solutions, praying to the gods, but no relief came. As time went on, a mysterious rumor began to spread. The drought was caused by the spirit of a river goddess named Idu, who had been offended by the people's neglect of her sacred waters. The elders quickly gathered at the palace to seek the Oba's wisdom on how to appease Idu and restore the land's fertility. After much deliberation, Oba Eweka decided that the best approach was to seek the advice of the kingdom's most respected oracle, Avbakan, who was known for his ability to communicate with the gods and spirits of the land. Oba Eweka and his warriors journeyed to Avbakan's hidden grove deep within the forest. After performing sacred rites, Avbakan spoke. The goddess Idu has indeed turned her back on the kingdom because her waters were neglected and tainted by human carelessness. To win her forgiveness, the people must make a special offering. The offering, the oracle revealed, was not gold, jewels, or any riches, but the kindness and respect of the people themselves. Every household was to draw water from Idu's river and pour it on their land as a sign of gratitude. Moreover, Oba Eweka himself had to personally bless the river and humbly apologize to Idu. Oba Eweka, wise and compassionate, led his people to the river, each carrying pots of water. He called upon Idu and poured his own water, promising to honor and protect the river. The people followed, pouring their water in unity. As they did so, dark clouds began to gather overhead, and soon, a heavy rain fell, nourishing the parched earth. The drought ended, and the kingdom's prosperity returned. To honor the goddess Idu, Oba Eweka established an annual festival, where the people celebrated the river and remembered the importance of respecting nature. And so, through their unity, gratitude, and respect for the land, the people of Benin learned that true wealth lies not only in gold or power but in harmony with the earth and the spirits that dwell within it. From that day on, the kingdom flourished, their rivers flowing clear, their crops bountiful, and the people bound together by the wisdom of their Oba and the blessing of the river goddess. Hope you enjoyed and learned something from the story. Now the second story. The title of my second story is The Enigmatic Osun River. Long ago, in the heart of the Benin Kingdom, there lay a river that was both revered and feared. This river, known as Osun, was no ordinary body of water. It was alive with mysteries, and its presence shaped the lives of all who lived near it. Flowing gracefully through thick forests, whispering hills, and vast farmlands, the Osun River was believed to be the dwelling of a powerful spirit, a spirit that, it was said, could grant wishes, bless the land, and curse those who showed disrespect. The people of the kingdom regarded the Osun River as a benevolent, yet capricious mother. Every year, at the start of the rainy season, the villagers gathered at her banks to perform the Osun festival, where they offered yams, fish, fruits, and pots of honey. They sang songs of praise, beat their drums, and danced by the river's edge, imploring the river spirit to bless their crops, keep their children healthy, and protect their homes. Yet, despite the blessings the Osun River could bring, her gifts always came with conditions. For in truth, Osun was known to be merciful but unpredictable. She loved deeply those who honored her, but her wrath was fearsome to those who disrespected her. One fateful day, a young farmer named Adedeji arrived in the Benin Kingdom from a distant village. Adedeji was known for his great ambition and endless curiosity, yet he was also skeptical of the old ways. While the villagers revered the Osun River with utmost respect, Adedeji couldn't see past the rich, fertile land around it. His ambitions quickly drove him to plant his crops close to the river's edge, despite the warnings from the elders. One afternoon, as Adedeji tended to his crops, an old woman from the village approached him. She had a hunched back, and her hair was the color of storm clouds. Leaning heavily on a staff, she watched him for a long time before speaking. Adedeji, young farmer, do you know the land you tread upon? She asked, her voice creaking like the branches of an old tree. Yes, mother, he replied impatiently. This is my land, and these are my crops. The old woman shook her head, her eyes gleaming with something between pity and fear. The Osun River gives life, but she also has rules. You must not plant too close or else. Adedeji cut her off with a dismissive wave. The land is rich, and I need my crops to grow well. Besides, these are mere superstitions. The old woman sighed, her face saddened. Pride has often been the downfall of young men like you. Remember, the Osun River demands respect. She may seem gentle, but her anger can be fierce. The next morning, as the first rays of sunlight touched the waters, Adedeji went to the river and waded into its depths. He spoke to the Osun spirit, offering his life as penance for his pride. As he stood waist deep in the water, the river began to churn, and a mist rose from its surface, enveloping him. For a moment, he felt as though he were floating, suspended between the earth and the sky. When the mist cleared, Adedeji found himself on the riverbank, unharmed. But he felt different, humbled and filled with a deep respect for the river and its mysteries. He looked around, and to his astonishment, his fields had returned to life, the crops greener and healthier than ever before. Adedeji never again questioned the wisdom of the Osun River. From that day forward, he treated the land and its spirits with the reverence they deserved. And every year, he led the villagers in honoring Osun, sharing the tale of his lesson in humility with all who would listen. The story of Adedeji and the Osun River was passed down from generation to generation, a reminder of the delicate balance between humans and nature, and the power of respect for the forces that give life. To this day, the people of Benin remember the tale and honor the Osun River, for they know that her spirit watches, always ready to bless or to humble those who come before her. We have come to the end of our second story. Hope you enjoyed and learned something from the story. See you next time. Adedeji woke up in a cold sweat, dismissing the dream as nothing more than a figment of his imagination. But as he stepped out of his hut, he was met with a shocking sight. His fields, once lush and green, were now wilting, as though a strange blight had swept through the crops overnight. The leaves were dry, and the soil, which had been rich and dark the day before, was now cracked and barren. Panicked, Adedeji ran to the river, begging the Osun spirit for forgiveness. But the river remained silent, its surface calm and unmoved by his pleas. For days, Adedeji offered gifts of food and incense, hoping to appease the river spirit, but his crops continued to wither. The villagers watched in silence, knowing that he had invoked the wrath of Osun. Desperate, Adedeji sought out the old woman who had warned him. He found her in her small hut, weaving baskets by the dim light of a fire. "Please help me," he pleaded, falling to his knees. "I was wrong. I mocked the Osun spirit, and now my fields are dying. Tell me how to make things right." The old woman looked at him, her eyes sad but resolute. "Osun has given you a lesson in humility. She is not cruel, but she does not forgive easily. If you wish to make amends, you must give back what you took." "But I have nothing left to give," Adedeji cried, his voice filled with despair. "Then you must give yourself," she replied simply. "Go to the river at dawn and offer your spirit. Only then may Osun's mercy find you." With that, the old woman left, and Adedeji continued with his work. For weeks, his crops flourished, growing tall and strong, more vibrant than any he had planted before. Adedeji grew bolder, boasting to the villagers of his success. He ignored the murmurs of worry from the elders, even mocking their fears. One evening, as Adedeji walked by the river, he noticed a glint of silver in the water. Leaning down, he saw what appeared to be a small, intricately carved bracelet resting on the riverbed. Without hesitation, he reached into the river to retrieve it, marveling at the delicate craftsmanship. But as he lifted the bracelet from the water, he felt a sudden chill run through him. The river's gentle current turned rough, swirling around his legs as though alive. He stumbled back, dropping the bracelet, but the chill lingered. That night, Adedeji dreamed of the river. In his dream, he saw a woman as beautiful as moonlight, with long, flowing hair and skin the color of the Osun River at dusk. She wore a dress woven from river reeds, and her eyes glistened with the light of 1,000 stars. She spoke to him in a voice that was both soft and stern. "Adedeji, you have taken what is mine," she whispered. You have planted where you should not, and your pride blinds you to my power. I gave to you freely, but you have taken more. Tomorrow, you will see my wrath.